Well, studies show that by now, nearly 80% of all New Year's resolutions have already been broken. Now, if yours was to find a new job, you might have to rethink how you go about it. Author of Lose the Resume, Land the Job, Gary Burnison joins us to talk about taking control of your situation and tell your own story. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, how you doing?
Pleasure to have you here. I'm doing great. So let's help people get some jobs today by starting with some of the fundamentals that you should think about when you start a job search.
You know, I think, you know, if you've got purpose, if you're happy, you're going to be motivated, and if you're motivated, you're going to outperform. So I actually think, you know, you got to be proactive about this. I mean, people think that resume is kind of 90% of the effort, when in fact it's only 10%. And so you got to change your mindset completely about taking control of your career.
Right. So really, we should drop the traditional notion of a resume and adopt a new one. What's really the purpose that it should serve?
Well, look, you got to have it, right? But how about, you know, we sit there and we try to do a resume and we like, you know, agonize over verbs or adjectives, and you end up pulling your hair out. So that New Year's resolution, you say, forget it. You take the Post-it pad off and I'll do it some other time. You know, I think you've got to target. You've got to be proactive. So you want to target the industries and sectors and companies that you want to work for, and you got to get a warm introduction into those companies. That's the way to do it.
Well, and you kind of have to go into the job knowing what type of boss you're best suited for. So how does somebody actually figure that out?
Yeah, that's, you know, people leave bosses, they don't leave companies, right? And learning, you don't learn from a textbook, you learn from others, and your boss is going to be a big part of that. So, look, this is a contact sport. You know, so you've got to ask questions. You've got to ask questions about the culture of the company, and you got to ask questions to people that have worked at the company, that work at the company today, about that boss and what it's really like to be there.
Right. It's all about doing your homework. So, you know, as you search for different jobs, as you advance in your career, how do you know that a job is a career continuer, so to speak, or if it's just a job?
You know, if you're getting up without the alarm clock, you're probably happy. I mean, you know, seriously, and as a CEO, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. If you've got somebody who's motivated, you're probably excited, you're probably learning and growing, and that's the thing. You know, the number one predictor of success, CEO success, executive success, is curiosity. And so this thing around whether you really feel you're learning every day and you're growing, that's how you know.
Right. And how important is the component of social media these days in terms of job hunting and maybe keeping your job if you're more responsible?
Well, yeah, it's huge, and I'd say play defense before you play offense. So, you know, what happens in Vegas, it doesn't stay in Vegas. So I'll just take my oldest daughter, I've got 5 kids, she's 25, third job, going to the interview, it's a Sunday night. I type in her name, Google, and guess what? You know, nose ring, I got nothing against nose rings, Stephanie. Nose ring, orange hair, Mardi Gras beads around her neck. And I'm like, Steph, is that really the first image you want your employer to see? No. I mean, that's the first thing we check, is somebody's social media presence. Absolutely.
Right. You have to sort of be your own best proponent. And of course, a lot of these tips and everything we're talking about and more can be found in your book. How can people get a hold of it?
You can losetheresume.com or go on Amazon.
Fantastic. Gary Burnison, thank you so much for your time today and these excellent tips.
Thank you.
All right. Stay right where you are. We'll be right back.